Okay, good morning. So, today I'll be talking about Antigone by Sophocles. Um, so let's start with talking about Sophocles. Okay, he was born in 497 BC. Um, he wrote about 123 plays, seven of which still survive. He competed in about 30 competitions and won 24 of them, and is the most successful surviving Greek playwright. Um, he had competed against Aeschylus and Euripides, and he's known for adding the third character to have dialogue. Um, Certainly his characters were more developed. Like Aeschylus, he did grow up in a wealthy family. Um, while he did not have the extensive military career that Aeschylus had, he did hold many important positions in Greece. See background on um, Oedipus. Um, so the Theban plays were not interrelated. I'm sorry, they were interrelated, but they were not a trilogy. So, um, this play and Oedipus at Colonus and Oedipus Rex, um, they go in the sequence of Oedipus Rex, Oedipus at Colonus, and Antigone, but they weren't written together. They weren't performed together, so they're not a trilogy. Um, Aeschylus was the only one who wrote trilogies that were interrelated by plot. Um, but um, he this since I guess these plays are all similar, but there's no like cycle to them. So anyway, um, Oedipus was a Greek hero. He was in the House of Thebes. Um, he was noted for uncovering the prophecy of the Sphinx. Um, Back to the three plays. So this play was written first, then Oedipus Rex, and Oedipus Colonus. So, as I said, based on the myth of House of Thebes, and the Greeks were, as I said before in previous videos, heavily influenced by mythology and affected their religion, their daily lives, all that kind of stuff. Some of the more notable adaptations, and excuse me because I'm not good at French. Um, I know, I know. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it was Jean. So Jean is obvious, but last name spelled Anouilh. And if anyone knows how to pronounce it, because I'd like to know. In the comments, just write out the pronunciation. I'd appreciate that. So in 1946, he wrote Antigone. And Brecht also did an Antigone. So this play was written 441 BC in Greece. It's classical tragedy. So, Eteocles and Polynices, previous to the play, would trade places as king of Thebes, succeeding Creon, who ruled until they were of age after Oedipus went into exile. So Eteocles was the king, and Polynices was waiting. And Oedipus had put a curse on the family. Sound familiar? Another curse. So the brothers killed each other, and Eteocles was buried because he was the king, and Polynices wasn't because he committed regicide, which means killing a royal figure, mainly a king. So Antigone tells Ismene, that's her sister, that she wants to bury her brother. Antigone's sister to Polynices and Eteocles. So they're Oedipus and his wife had 4 children. Creon makes it clear. Creon is the brother-in-law of Oedipus, so the uncle of Antigone. Makes it clear that anyone who buries Polynices will be sentenced to death. And later on, a guard catches Antigone and his maid burying Polynices and brings him to Creon. And Creon sentences him to death. And if I remember correctly, I just read it. I think Antigone was plotting to do it before, and Creon found out, but she did it again. So he sentenced her and his maid to death. Haemon, Creon's son, tries to convince him that his actions are wrong, but Creon doesn't give in. And so Tiresias, this blind prophet, who's also an Oedipus, comes in and warns Creon of his actions, and still Creon does not give in. So, Haemon tries to kill Creon, but accidentally stabs himself, and when his mother Eurydice finds out, she killed herself, and Creon's in shock. So, pretty much all the family dies except for Creon. Moving on to characters, we have Antigone, who's the protagonist, and what I do want to discuss, yes, Antigone is the protagonist. Yes, Creon's the antagonist. But who can an antagonist be a tragic hero? Or found a hero, like a tragic character. Okay, so let me just look at Antigone. Is she in a high place, according to Greek tragedy? I mean, she has Haemon, and she's the niece of the king, the new king. So she's got it good, but there is a conflict that she wants to bury her brother. Oh, that's my phone. Hey Mom, I'm making a video. Can I call you back? Okay, I'm making a video. And if anybody just heard my ringtone, if you guys know what that was, I will give you brownie points. If you didn't hear it, I'll tell you what it was. You're a bad man. You're a very bad man. So, if anybody knows what that's from, I know what it's from. I will reward you somehow. So, don't look it up though. Anyway, say back to Antigone. Antigone. Lost my train of thought with the phone call. Sorry, I should have turned my phone on. Antigone wants to be with her brother, and what does she lose? Well, her life. And she knows that her actions are wrong, yet she is immoral. So she is heroic. First of all, she's heroic. She's acting on heroic moral actions, and she buries her brother, and she dies for it. But what lesson did she learn? What recognition did she go, oh, I shouldn't have buried my brother. Oh, I regret it. Oh, I recognize that I did the wrong thing. So, while she's a protagonist, is she a tragic hero? Does she make recognition? Let me talk about Creon now. Creon, I believe, is the tragic figure. Because he is a king, he's in a high place. he has a family. He has a son. He has a daughter, and a non-daughter, sorry, a wife. So he's all that going for him. In addition to being king, and he makes a mistake by being prideful as a king, saying that nobody can bury Polynices. And when Antigone, his niece, buries her brother, he sentences her to death along with Ismene. So, he's putting his own family to death, and then his son, who's in love with Antigone, wants to kill Creon and ends up dying because of Creon. Just getting out of the way. So, and Creon's wife, for the death of the son, kills herself. So, Creon actually doesn't die. Creon loses his family. And he's been warned by Tiresias. He's been warned by a prophet. And yet, he continues to err. Therefore, what I'm trying to say is, I really think Creon does sort of make a recognition. He sees his flaws at the end. He sees the mistake. He sees how he's fallen. And therefore, Creon does have the potential as being the tragic figure in the story, even though he's the antagonist. Ismene is Antigone's aide. She's another woman. She helps to justify Antigone's actions. If it's one person who's acting, we see that maybe they're wrong. We have Haemon and Ismene backing her up, so makes Antigone a stronger character. And Tiresias, who appears in Oedipus, blind prophet, he can't see the outside, he can see the inside, and he sees the truth. So, and of course, the guard, messenger, and Eurydice, we don't have them as really big characters, but so the chorus, again, men, senators, represents patriarchal society, mainly because Creon is the ruler and he's strong. Things that come up, strophe, antistrophe, systema. I couldn't find what system means. It's strophe and antistrophe. So what would happen, okay, so in the play it said strophe, antistrophe, when the chorus would speak. So in strophe, the actors would face one way and move a certain way, and then in antistrophe, the actors would move, the chorus would move the other way and face another way. So it was kind of like a dance. Means burial. Burying somebody is putting their soul to rest. Burying is conclusion. Burying is holy. And if this person hasn't gotten the right to be buried, you've done something wrong, their soul shouldn't be at rest. Greeks were very traditional, very sacred, very religious. Sorry, let me move this. It's getting hot. So burials are really important. Prophecies. Definitely, a prophecy is like a warning for the character, for Creon. It's their big chance to be like, okay, you're doing something wrong. And when Creon doesn't listen to that, the prophet who sees the truth within, who has some sort of gift, He's just bringing himself down. Um, so this all goes in with hubris. Hubris, as I said before, means pride, and kings often had pride. It's one of their Hamaratia, which means tragic error. That is Creon's error. So finally, males and females, we have Antigone, who isn't in power, but she is definitely the stronger character, definitely the character you feel pathos for. I guess to some degree you feel pathos for Creon because you're like, maybe he didn't know better, he's just so full of himself, and then he's like, oh, he lost his family. You kind of feel sorry for him. I mean, he had it coming, but in general, you have more pathos, sympathy for Antigone. Which just raises the question: who is the more tragic character? Who is the hero? So definitely, as opposed to Aeschylus's plays, we have a strong female character in Antigone. And to talk about that, who's the tragic hero. Regicide and regular. Okay, so one thing that comes to mind, with Eteocles and Polynices. So one was the king, and one wasn't at the time. So should Polynices have been buried as well as Eteocles? Question comes to mind: is a royal figure, is a president, is a king, is a wealthy man, is a police officer, is any human being worth more than another? Is a human life? Okay, so obviously morals say killing a child is worse than killing an adult. It's crueler to kill an animal, but really, death in itself is cruel. Like, killing somebody is cruel. That's the point of it. And if these guys both killed each other, definitely they committed an equal crime. It doesn't matter who was equal. I mean, who's king and who was not king. Both of them committed a crime, and both of them deserve either burial or not to be buried. But in the eyes of Greeks and in our society, regicide, any killing of a more highly status person is a worse crime than killing a regular person or lower class person. Like, shooting the president is worse than killing a homeless person. Well, the president is doing more for the country. The president is in power. It makes the country fall apart and sends it into turmoil. It screws things up, but the worth of a human life, we have to keep in mind. Yeah, while killing a king or killing a political figure is causes more problems and affects more people, the actual worth of human life, it is equal. Like, all humans are equal. And it gets confusing. Like, I'm just saying, like, if a president has gone into a sword fight with a homeless person, or his brother who's not president, let's say that's a better example. I mean, both of them it's not like the person just walked up and killed the president. They're both fighting, so they both had it coming. And I don't know, this is an interesting debate, and I'd be happy to discuss it with people. So, two questions I had for you guys. Did Polynesius deserve to get buried? And also, who is the tragic hero of the play? Or the character with most at stake, who is the more developed character, Creon or Antigone? So, criticism: much richer characters in Aeschylus, much stronger dramatic conflict, much richer dialogue, much more philosophy within this play, sparks thoughts. And negative, really, the only negative I can think of, yeah, like all Greek plays, the cast is large with a chorus of 12, and unless you double the characters, probably like 6 to 8 speaking characters. And you could downsize the chorus and downsize and double the characters, probably reduce it to a cast of 9. So that's doable for regional productions and productions where it's money is involved. So, alright, so that's what I have to say for Antigone. Tomorrow I'm doing Oedipus Rex, also Sophocles. So have a good day, everybody. Bye.